Okay, we're moving right along. HED 241, Part B, Descriptive Statistics, Section 9, Mean, Median, and Mode. So, sorry about that. This is a review from last section, looking at your mean. Mean is the most frequently used average. The mean is the balance point in a distribution of scores. Specifically, it's a point around which all deviations sum to 0. Remember, if your deviations do not sum to 0, go back and check your mean. The mean is extremely sensitive to extreme scores. So if you have extremely high score or extremely low score and the rest are kind of all similar, it's going to throw it off. So let's talk about median. This is an alternative average. 50% of scores are above the median. 50% of scores are below the median. That's always the case. It's the middle point of the distribution. Median, middle. So unlike the mean, the median is insensitive to extreme scores. Okay? So you want to use a median when describing scores or participation in a highly skewed distribution. So when you have those extreme scores, you really want to use median. Let's look at how you determine it. Scores in order from low to high. So there are 11 scores. So you notice here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scores here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your middle. Okay, 81. So that is an example when there is an odd number of scores. Odd number, it's pretty easy. You just figure out how many there are and you go right in the middle. So there should be 5 below and 5 above. Okay. What happens when there's an even number? So there are 6 scores. So which one's in the middle? So you're going to put, you see there's 3 here, 3 here. Take the sum of the two scores that are closest to the middle. So 7 and 10 divided by 2, it gives you 8.5. That's your median. Okay. Let's look at this one. So you got 6 scores again. If you notice, instead of having 15 here, you have 229. There's still 6 scores. Median remains the same because you're still only looking at that 7 and the 10, so it's still 8.5. So the median is insensitive to extreme scores. So that's why when you have an extreme score like 229 where the next highest is 12, you really want to consider using the median. Mode. Okay, so this is the most frequently occurring score. This should be easy. All of you guys should get all of your mode questions correct on your exam, on your homework, everything. Mode. Okay. What is the mode for the following scores? You arrange the scores low to high. Okay. 7 occurs the most. 7 occurs 3 times. 2 occurs twice, but 7 occurs 3 times. So 7 is the mode for the scores. So what's the mode for the following scores? What happens if you have like 2 numbers that have occurred the same number of times? You can have 2 modes. Okay? So here your 2 modes are 20 and 23. So this is one of the disadvantages of using mode. There may be more than one mode in distribution, which can be deceiving a little bit as far as the scores. So how do you choose now that I've given you these 3 options really? Mean is usually the most appropriate. So the one we spent all of the last lecture on, which is y is by itself, is usually the most appropriate. However, the mean is not appropriate for nominal or ordinal data. Okay, remember, it's only to be used with interval or ratio levels of measurement because there's an even space between each. It's almost always inappropriate for use with highly skewed distributions. So the example where there was a random number of 229 and the rest were all below 12, that would not be a time you want to use an average because that's really going to pull the mean score up. Median. So you choose median when mean is not appropriate. Okay, so your first choice is mean, your next choice is median. You do not use median for nominal data. So when you have nominal data, you use mode. Okay, mode is always your last option, but it is the only one that is actually appropriate for nominal data. What's nominal data again? That's just information like marital status, sexual orientation, relationship status. Any of those qualify as nominal data. Okay, I want you to just take a look at this. I don't want you to stress over this a ton. This shows you the position of the three averages and distributions with positive and negative skews. Okay, notice that mode is still always right in the middle. Okay, median is skewed a little bit depending. Okay, and then the mean is always going to be skewed because it's pulled towards that extreme number. Okay, so think about the distribution curves that we talked about a couple lectures ago, earlier in part B, and think about that and the positive and negative skewed, and kind of have an idea, you know, how these are impacted, but don't stress too much over these. Section 9 questions, make sure you know all these answers, and check your assignment for the specific questions to answer, and as always, if you have any questions, let me know.